right, let's start by talking about these week 5 assignments. You have already submitted your informative speech topic selection report, so be sure and return to that Dropbox to look at my feedback to make sure that your country was approved, as well as receive any feedback concerning those key focus areas. I may have left you specific feedback to help prepare you for the next step in our speech planning process, which is the research. And so this is a hyperlink. You can also access this information by going up to the top of your course and clicking Dropbox, and then navigating over to the informative speech research assignment Dropbox. For this assignment, we'll be working with a fillable form. So once again, you'll access this form, open the file, save it before you begin editing within it. When you get to the file, you'll see the instructions. Then you'll also see the format to use for each source. Then, of course, we've got the fillable form, and you can reuse this form and copy to do, of course, any additional sources that you may want to use in your speech. So just copying and repeating after the minimum of 3 required sources. So each student does need to use 3 credible sources for this assignment. And so we're going to be working on making sure that we gather credible information and submit it to the Dropbox. So we are restricting your use of Wikipedia, although that is a great starting place. And I've embedded the research librarian, and I'll show you where you can find her because she's also a strong advocate of using Wikipedia as a starting place for your research. Dictionary.com, ask.com, and ehow.com. And that is all in favor of allowing you to use richer sources of information that you can bring to your audience. And so we are going to be looking for these sources and walking you through some critical thinking steps to verifying those sources and making sure that you can explain why you selected those sources and how they are credible to your audience. And we do that in the form of letter F, the oral citation. The oral citation, where we are creating it for the purpose of this assignment, then we're going to take it and plug it into our outline so that it blends in nicely to the speech format. So in order to do that, you have to know who is speaking, who is creating this source. And so that's typically an author or at least an author group, perhaps a corporation if the author is not listed specifically. And then, of course, the title of the work, whether it's an article or an interview or perhaps a video. And then the type of source, and that's where you explain if it was a video or an interview or an article. And then the date that the information was presented or published, and then why you believe that source to be credible. And this really helps to allow your audience to see you as an expert curating these sources for them. And so you'll take that information and you'll document it in this research report and submit it. And I'll be paying close attention to that oral citation. And then, of course, after this document has been approved, you can simply take letter F and plug it into your outline for the next step. So then let's go back and look at where to find your research librarian. So we'll go to content, and then we'll look at the public speaking process. And then you can see right here, there's a little button called Meet Your Librarian. And so we have an embedded librarian in this course, Sarah Beth Kaufman. And so you can access her information right here in this learning module. And you can feel free to set up an appointment with her. You can email her. You can walk into our Chat State Library on the main campus, and that is where she is located. And you can schedule an appointment if you know you're coming to campus. You can just walk in and speak with her if she's available, or any of our other librarians. Or you can also do a virtual appointment with her. So we've got her office hours listed, and, scheduling an appointment or making a virtual appointment with her so that you can talk to her while you're at your school, or just emailing her with any questions that you have. She is really wonderful and as a support to finding research. So if you get into your topic and you're looking at a particular country and you cannot find any information about one of your key focus areas, perhaps nonverbal communication, and you let Sarah Beth know, she can help direct you to some of our library databases, perhaps, and help you find some research that would be relevant and credible for your sources. So that is the first assignment that is due this week. And then the next assignment is that discussion board, Dimensions of Culture. So you can access that by clicking the discussion tab and then looking right here, Dimensions of Culture. So our first discussion board was a video assignment. Discussion 2 is a written assignment, although I had a student ask if they could do a video, and I think that would be appropriate if you wanted to record yourself giving the answers to these questions. I think that would be fine, but this discussion board assignment can actually become one of your pieces of research for the research report. You'll be looking at the Hofstede country comparison tool and selecting your country for your informative speech plus the US to compare them in terms of power distance, individualism versus collectivism, uncertainty avoidance, long-term orientation indulgence, and then you'll be reflecting on what you learn. In addition to that, you will also be making your replies to your classmates. So 2 big assignments this week. I know you're going to do great work. I'm very impressed with the class as a whole and their ability to stay on top of this course. So I'm looking forward as we progress through the speech planning process. I need to work on my enunciation this morning. So let me know if you have any questions.